Whitaker. He's also ranked 4 by the WBA, number 6 by the IBF. Coleman unranked, and he understands after the last fight against Ron Weaver, and if he can pull off the upset here, he can vault in to the rankings. But so far, Coleman has been frustrated by Coley through 3 rounds. What's going on in the Coleman corner? Let's go there. It's Sean right now with Rudy Elias.
Sean? Rudy, you keep trying to tell him to close the gap. What do you mean?
Closing the gap, what I mean is he's got to get closer. Right now he's fighting at Coley's distance. That's why Coley is cracking him with the right hand and with the jabs, and the hooks. But in order to get to Coley, he's got to get close to him. He's got to go under his punches.
He said in this fight tonight, if I get my jab to working, everything else will fall in place. Do you think maybe you need to get the jab working also, and how do you do that?
Well, he's got to get his jab working, and then after the jabs, they come the left hooks, to the head and to the body. But I think he's finding some difficulties, to get off.
Has he tasted all the power that Derrell Coley has?
I think Derrell Coley, he hit him with some good shots, and he shook him a little bit, but he didn't hurt him, that bad, because, he's still fighting. I mean, Pat, he's got a big heart.
Oh, he's very tough.
And as soon as he fights his distance, I think we're going to be okay.
Do you think he's frustrating Coley now? I see a different style in Derrell.
Well, yeah, I think he's frustrating him a little bit because he already tasted 2 left hooks, good ones from Coleman, but Coleman, he hasn't had the chance, to get him again.
Yeah, has Pat given the power to Derrell?
Yeah, I think he's giving the power to Derrell, because he's at the end of Derrell's punches.
And we see a different Derrell this round than the first 3.
Right.
All right, Rudy. I think you got it all figured out over here. Al, they know what they're doing. They like what they see, especially this round. They've got 12 rounds to work with.
Well, it's been a slow start for Pat Coleman. But here in the 4th, showing some signs, settling down. Coley, though, snapping out that jab. He has been beating Coleman to the jab. And now some blood around the right eye of Pat Coleman. He's going to have to go to work in his corner. Demonstrating some great power, and he really has put Pat Coleman in his place in that first round. Coleman now just trying to battle out of that shell.
Yeah, it's up to Coleman now to turn his fight back into the war that he wanted.
Come on.
And some rough edges now around the right eye of Coleman. He returns fire, but then Coley returns and moves backwards. Coley starting everything with the jab.
Moving into the jab. The taller man will have the advantage, especially when they get down like Coley does. Derrell squats down so that your opponent doesn't get under you. Nice loose punches from Derrell Coley.
Pat Coleman insisting that this would be a war, and that although Coley likes to box and move and run and jab, that he was going to eliminate all that and just jump right on him. Easier said than done.
Come on, get out
because
yourselves.
the movement, the boxing, and the jab actually dictating it and not allowing Coleman to jump on Coley.
2 fighters, 147 pounds. But look how much physically bigger Derrell Coley appears to be in the ring. Physically stronger, all his weight in his shoulders and his upper body. He's able to muscle around Pat Coleman as he wishes.
So, Champ, if this does not turn into the slugfest as we guaranteed, we can then blame Pat Coleman.
I thought it was a slugfest in the first 3. Yes, the first 3 rounds. But it was Derrell Coley. Oh! Ouch!
Yes, Coleman stood up straight, and Coley moving in.
Let him go.
You are seeing the difference here of the number 2 ranked welterweight in the world, and Pat Coleman is trying to scratch to get into the rankings. A very distinct difference in the first 5 rounds.
Yeah, really a different classification of fighter, a different level. Derrell Coley this is just a perfect kind of opponent for him. You gotta stay on your toes, you gotta stay focused because Coleman has just enough power to turn the fight if you allow him to. But for Coley, he needs to continue to dictate with that left hand.
And remember, Coley has been down in 4 or 5 of his fights.
And remember, Al guaranteed this one. When it didn't land the big shot like that, it takes all of the energy out of your opponent.
And when Derrell Coley went back to his corner at the end of the 5th round, his trainer Leonard Langley told him, Derrell, it's too early for the knockout. Box him. Why does Leonard think it's too early for it?
Well, Leonard what they've done in the corner and with Derrell is they've limited their wrist. They put Pat Coleman into a shell. Coleman is now afraid to throw any punches. Every time he throws something hard, he gets hit 2 or 3 punches back hard. They have Pat Coleman just where they want him. Now it's time to relax, to play, have some fun, and try to learn something in there. Try to learn how to set up your opponent and then really smack him out. And now, at this point, if Derrell Coley's corner, you say to him, okay, I like what you're doing. I want those combinations to come one after another, and I want an explosion in there. I see you throwing the one shot, like that big right hand that he threw just there. Derrell Coley has a terrific left hook also. What you do is you get to put that right hand along with the left hook, and this fight's over. Or so you hope. But he's in there with a very tough Pat Coleman. For Coleman, he has to change gears, change directions, 2 steps in the front piece. Move in like Elias said. You have to start throwing punches. And we've seen not very many body punches in either fight.
Coleman is just at this point perplexed.
Now he's
knows what he wants to do, but just can't do it.
There's a good jab from Pat, but he used it while he's going backwards. See, Pat doesn't want any confrontation here. He doesn't want to get in the inside. I can't say as I blame him. Yes, on the inside.
Doesn't want to or can't. Scheduled for 12 rounds. It's about halfway through. And Coleman starting to take a beating around the face. Inside the final 10 seconds of round number 6.
Derrell Coley's boxing.
To the Derrell Coley corner as we begin round number 7. And Pat Coleman again hearing it from Rudy Elias, looking to find the right buttons to push. After 6 rounds appear to all go to Derrell Coley. And he's trying to get Pat Coleman to cut off the ring. He feels whenever Coleman's able to get the shots off, that Coley stops punching. So Elias telling Coleman to punch more, which is fine strategy. But he feels Coleman is trying to load up for that one knockout punch to kind of get him out of the trouble that he has dug for himself in the first 6 rounds. He wants Coleman to fire some more combinations, not go for that one knockout punch. Meanwhile, what are they thinking now in the Coley corner? Let's find out. The champ is there with Leonard Langley.
Leonard, how difficult is it to keep Derrell Coley boxing?
It's very hard. He gets the guy, he throws a good right hand. So
Them hands
the guy
loose.
he wanted the guy out of here. And see, I want him to stay focused boxing. He don't have to worry about knocking this guy out. This guy ain't never been knocked out, you know?
Yeah, but I've seen him wobble a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
What is it that you see that you say, well, we're going to let it cook for a little bit?
Yeah, because this guy still got a little power, you know? Every time Derrell throws, he's throwing his punches very short, you know? And see, I don't want Derrell to get caught up in this, okay?
Yeah.
I want him to continue using his jab and using his reach. And he's hit the guy with the right-handed wheel, okay? So I don't want him to change nothing up. If this is working for us, let's go with it all night.
Yeah, this is working perfectly, but do you think, Leonard, there'll be an opportunity that you'll say, wait a minute, I think it's time to shut this fight out?
Say it again?
Do you think there'll be an opportunity for a knockout?
No. This kid, this kid is tough. Derrell hit him with his best step from that goal, okay? You know, it's too late in the game to take chances now. We continue boxing this guy, and let's get out of here.
And your high ranking on the line, a lot on the line in this fight. So that's the reason for the boxing tonight.
Right, boxing.
Do you need the rounds that badly?
Yes, because we haven't fought in a while, and the only 2 fights he had, he won by knockout. So this is good work for us, you know.
Hey, Coleman's right there for you to work on.
Right, he's right there. So why take a chance?
Sure. All right, Leonard Langley, that's right.
And I also heard what you said before the fight, you know, this is going to be a slugfest. Yeah. So it motivated him.
It was in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Now doing anything, Al, to make us look wrong. Leonard Langley.
Okay, thank you.
Well, hey, you better work on Leonard before you come back, champ. Yes, Coley's last couple of fights have been of the tune-up variety, a couple of first-round knockouts, so he's looking for the rounds, and he's doing what he says he can do, dictate the fight, and that is to box. And we'll pause now for word from your local cable system. In between rounds continues to harp on the strategy to Derrell Coley of just maintain the status quo. He just doesn't want Coley to get too excited and try to take out a sturdy Pat Coleman.
Well, this has been the knock on Derrell Coley. He goes in there to destroy everyone without the ability to box. When you get hurt, and you don't need to take any more punches in the head because you're really off balance, that's the time that you need to box and you need to show your versatility. It's something that Leonard Langley is trying to get Derrell to do, is to box more in some of these larger fights. With this fight, he is in complete control, but he doesn't want to lose focus for 1 second to go back to that boxing, slugging, brawling match.
And take the chance that Coley says he's been taking too many times. You look at his NABF fights, the brilliant war against Terrence Ali, in which Coley was actually elevated to another level, and that one was a victory. For the first time he took the look of a bona fide contender, but then, you know, in his defenses, a rock'em sock'em draw against Rocky Balboa, split decision over Ray Lovato, and a couple of fights that he may have made a little bit too difficult for himself, which leads you to the question, Sean, after all these wars, you know, by the time Coley gets that world title fight, will he be the toughened, hard-nosed, you know, ready for anything fighter, or, you know, will be worn out?
Sure, but so many fighters go into that championship fight being drained, being physically beat up and worn out from the wars going into the championship fight, not so much the championship fight. And for their training team, they know that, they understand that, and they want for Coley to relax, to play, to have fun. If boxing isn't fun, they are not going to be very good at it. If you're having fun in the ring, then that makes boxing worth it. Drawn into that slugfest, time after time after time, it becomes rather banal.
30 seconds left in the 8th.
Except exciting for us.
Derrell Coley saying that everything that happens tonight was going to happen. Yes. So here in the 8th, now Coley is going for it. And Coleman walks away, nods his head, saying, nice punch, but I'm still here.
Well, yeah, at the end of that 8th round, Derrell Coley had walked Pat Coleman where he wanted him and then cracked the overhand right. Coleman staggered, he wobbled, but he did not go down. You know, they call him the Cat. That was a name given to my grandfather, Larry Addison, who called him that as a kid. And in this fight tonight, he's somewhat like a cat, able to take those punches and come back, and survive. Pat Coleman.
24 and 5. Coleman with 18 knockouts.
Tough kid.
As McGirt for the test tube.
All right, let him go, let him go, let him go.
That time, back in August of '94, Pat Coleman, 19-2, an unknown coming out of Chicago, and It looked to be nothing more than a tune-up fight from McGirt.
Come on out. Come on out. Come on out.
And he has to survive and win a split decision against a very game Coleman.
Coleman said, I learned more from that fight than most of my other fights. He said, I needed training is what I learned in that. He said that McGirt was very crafty. We've seen Buddy McGirt on a number of occasions was very crafty.
He said when you fight Buddy McGirt, you make these things you don't want to do. It makes you run into his punches. Coleman finding that Derrell Coley doing a little of that.
Let him go.
Coley unleashes that big right at the end of the eighth, and the first thing that Leonard Langley said to him at the end of the round when he came into the corner was, take your time, it will come. Leonard really wants to get 12 rounds of
Get him loose. Let him go.
Well, keep that concentration and focus too. He wants to keep Derrell really right on mentally in this fight. And I really like these right hands that Derrell is throwing, but I would like to see more combinations from him. The right hand followed by the left hook. And a few explosions now and then from him, I think would serve him well.
Coleman just can't get in. I mean, he heard from Rudy Elias after the eighth round also. I mean, Rudy saying to him, hey, the rounds are going. If you are losing the fight, you have to put the pressure on.
Yeah, very honest in the corner. He told him you have to get in the inside and start throwing punches. And they are quite happy with this round in the corner of Coleman. The harder shots have been landed by Coley, but Coleman has thrown the most of the two.
This is where Coley struck in the eighth. And now Coleman moving Coley back for a rare instance in this fight. There again, it's the right by Coleman. And Coley is down! Coley is down! You cannot be saved by the bell unless it's the final round. Coley is rocked. Coleman out of nowhere in dramatic fashion did get inside and leaves Derrell Coley rubber-legged into the corner. Coley, who might have been pitching the shutout going into the ninth round, and the dramatic turnaround.
Big right hand out of nowhere. He is stunned. They are silent in that corner. Pour that bucket of water over his head. Here's what happened. Watch the right hand from Pat Coleman finding the sweet spot, kind of right on the ear.
Kind of looked like a grazing blow.
Didn't really look like a hard shot. Had him on the side and down goes. Wow. What a shot. Derrell Coley winning every round. Kind of a strange shot.
And watch the confidence boost now of Coleman, who senses the opportunity of this dramatic turnaround. Coley holding on, but Coleman is Coley tagged again. And it is Coleman swinging away. And it now indeed is the slugfest. Derrell Coley, who has shown that he does have that sweet spot and has been down on several occasions in this fight. Pat Coleman with new life, and Coleman looks like he's ready to go. Right back down to stops the fight. Pat Coleman has done it. Rudy Elias says the rounds are going, you're losing the fight, you gotta come up with something big. And Pat Coleman follows the instructions to a T. What an upset. What a turnaround. A miracle finish for Pat Coleman.
Wow, really depressed Derrell Coley, but the excitement is from Pat Coleman. Wow. Exciting. This is why in boxing a puncher always has a puncher's chance. Remember how strong Derrell Coley was, especially early in this fight? How many right hands Pat Coleman had taken and eaten and come back with his own? Oh, that's why punchers in boxing rule.
Pat Coleman, unranked. He said, you kept coming at me. And for Coleman, that is the face he wants to kiss, because Derrell Coley now has probably allowed Pat Coleman to get into the top 10.
Well, he put Coleman on the map now. Big turnaround in this fight. What a shock, Derrell.
Well,
Coley stopped by Frank Cappuccino, and look at this, a nice little dance.
well, if you thought Rocky Gannon felt like he was on the top of the mountain last week, how about Pat Coleman striking like a cat in the 10th? Leonard Langley in the corner of Derrell Coley all night telling him, keep fighting, keep boxing, don't get into the slugfest. And Pat Coleman in the 9th with a punch that we've seen on 3 occasions. Not a punch that hit squarely, but still had the great, as he has on the back of his trunks, grim and repercussions.
I think that was
Coley.
repercussions. Wow.
All right, let's get the
What a
official
shot.
time. Here's that Derrell.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Foxwoods Resort Casino, here in Mashantucket, Connecticut, referee Frank Cappuccino stops this bout at 1 minute and 45 seconds of the 10th round, and the winner by a TKO, and the brand new NABF welterweight champion, Pat the Cat Coleman. Coleman. And have a nice round of applause.
Pat Coleman, the new NABF welterweight champion, in shocking fashion with a 10th round TKO over Derrell Coley, handing Coley only his 2nd defeat. Yeah, the first time Coley has been stopped. And there is a very disappointed Coley who just cannot believe it. And when we return, we'll talk to the new champ, Pat Coleman, also try to get into the ring and have a word with Derrell Coley.